Ni hao, 我是 Anthony from magneticmemorymethod.com. I'm going to tell you what this image is all about in a second, but first of all, I want to welcome you to the 5th video in our 30-day Chinese phrase challenge. And let me see if I can get this right here. 我做了5视频. I've made 5 videos in our challenge so far. This is the 5th. I'm making it now. 现在. Yeah, just as an interesting point of fact, I just learned this video word on the street, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, 视频. And I think that video course actually should be 视频课程. And that chong should be second tone. There's reasons why that is something that I hope I've remembered correctly. But if you're interested in Chinese and you're not subscribed to this channel, and even if you're just interested in memory techniques in general for memorizing things that are notoriously difficult, please be subscribed because you'll find it really useful. And, go back and check out video 4 because we had some very, very interesting scientific data in support of why all this works and how to create images in your own mind and why that image is created in your own mind. Self-G means self-generated, gives you both immediate and long-term memory advantages if you learn how to create crazy images like this in your mind. So we're going to get into what all this means, how it can help you memorize a very interesting phrase that maybe has a little bit of tragedy and sadness to it. We'll talk about that coming right up. Alright, so what could be so tragic and sad about an image like this that is so wild and wonderful and colorful and crazy? Well, the thing is that, and this is just my personal experience, I don't want to impose it on anybody else, and it's certainly not the experience seemingly where I heard a bunch of Chinese native speakers uttering this sentence and the answers to the question, but it means, do you have any brothers or sisters? And when I first learned this, I asked my parents-in-law and I asked my wife this, and there seemed to be a kind of sadness because of some of the rules that were imposed on certain generations in China. So my wife, for example, has no siblings, and there's political, historical reason for that, and there's a certain sadness around that. In any case, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't learn how to ask, do you have any brothers or sisters? Because it's a really good question to ask. And so how did I get this image, or how did I get this phrase into my memory so that I could actually speak it? And, I'm not a very good person to listen to pronunciation from, so we're going to have the pinyin on here, and I want to give you an opportunity at the end of this video to hear 6 native speakers speaking this phrase and 6 different answers from native speakers from around China. So that's very powerful because I just am working on getting this information into my memory so that I'm able to practice, and I was able to actually ask it in a way that was understandable, but I need to continue working on my pronunciation. But I can't work on pronunciation based on stuff that's not in my memory, so that's why that I use images like this. And so I'll explain to you that this is the Karate Kid, and he's got his knee up there, and he's usually doing it in the direction of somebody, which helps remember that it's you, right? And you'll find that you don't need this after a while, but when you're memorizing whole phrases and you want to get things in context, it's really, really useful to have this going on. Now, this is Yeoman from Star Trek, if you remember her. She wasn't in all that many episodes of the original series, but it helps remember this yo, right? Which is, or yo, which is a way of saying have, right? Now, Shania has this sh sound, and this is a really interesting Chinese artist named Huang Yongping. And I really recommend that you go and look him up because I wasn't really sure what to do here. So what I did is I just popped this sound into Google, and I found out that there's an artist who has that sound in his name. And what I ended up finding out is a whole bunch of really cool stuff about him. And this is a learning strategy that not only creates more energy and interest about Chinese, but then you get to see the characters, and then you ask interesting questions like, hey, isn't that the same character that's related to swimming? And then that helps compound your memory. And, you might be wrong, it might not be, but if it is, then that's great. And then you can click on different things. Like you can click on this town and read all about it, and then you can click on some other stuff that is really, really interesting that increases your interest in Chinese. So, you know, it's just amazing what can happen. And if you actually look deep enough, you know, like you can look up the family name, for example, and then you can go to his website and see some of his art, and it just is a little energy creating machine that makes you even more and more interested in the language. And of course it creates a very nice mnemonic tool for you, because now I know who this dude is, and when I mix him up with Shania Twain, then it's pretty easy to remember that sound. Now this is Dee Snider from Twisted Sister. This is a guy named Jeff Goings. It's not a perfect one-to-one correspondence for this sound, and this is a sound that I struggle with a little bit more, but I'm very grateful that I have on autopilot 6 native Chinese speakers ready to repeat it for me at any time. And then, well, Faceless May is a No Means No album that I highly recommend that you listen to. It's actually just a song on a very short album that they made for a special tour. If you don't know No Means No, they're a Canadian band, and that's just what comes to mind. You want to just relax, go with whatever comes to your mind, and then see these characters acting on each other so that you're able to see a little story, and you want to be able to put it into a memory palace. And as we talked about in earlier videos, like well, we're talking about it in video 5 now, but we talked about it in video 4 and 3 and 2 and even 1. What you want to do as soon as you possibly can is start seeing the characters in your images. And this is a character that is representing the sound ma, which means that you're asking a yes-no question in many, many cases. So when you see the Karate Kid kneeing the yeoman from Star Trek in the face, it's very easy to remember the sounds, ni yo. And then Shania Twain is elbowing this young guy, Huang Yongping, and I know more about him than I ever would imagine possible just by reading on Wikipedia, checking out his website, and so forth. So now ni yo shang. And then Dee Snider. I use Dee Snider a lot in Chinese for different purposes. Sometimes he's burning yen, and he's doing all kinds of crazy things. And so then, okay, this is not like the closest thing there, but over time you sometimes come up with different images. But for now, Jeff Goings is pretty good. And then Mei, and then Ma. So ni you shang de jie mei ma. Again, now I have this in memory. I have a basis for actually correcting the pronunciation. And as I said, I was able to ask my parents-in-law this question and my wife, and a certain sadness was about it because none of them have siblings. But it's still a good question to be able to ask, and that's a way to get it into your memory very, very quickly. And of course, you want to follow through with some other tools. And if you're interested in some other tools that will help your memory, I'd like to introduce you to the source of what I'm using to help me get the correct pronunciations, but not just the correct pronunciations, but a range of pronunciations. And that is the Real Spoken Chinese Vault from Mandarin HQ. And you get a large variety of phrases spoken by native speakers. And what you can do is you hit these little buttons here, and they ask the question, and you can just hit this person number 1 again and again and again, and really study in granular detail how that they're pronouncing it as you make your images. So you can click back and forth, and you know, it's really helpful to have a piece of paper or a document open and associate in your mind, what image could I come up with? And so, you know, I listen to them, and I think, and then I maybe punch some things into Google and come up with images. And it's so helpful to be able to have these native speakers just on autopilot like that, and then click, 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 and then you get all these answers. And of course, you can use these same tools you're learning in these videos to remember their answers. So I'd really encourage you to get this, because it's not just beginner level, but then when you've gone through all of this and your progress is totally tracked, you're then able to go to elementary. And you can see that I skipped ahead, did a little bit of intermediate. But then I decided, you know what, I'm going to be diligent and go through all of this, and went back to beginner. I've done more of this now. This is just an older screenshot, but I love how it tracks the progress. And you can get it all with some special bonuses that I want to tell you about by just going to magneticmerrymethod.com/YT Chinese. Now, you need to use this link in order to get these bonuses. But one of them, the big kahuna of them all, is access to my secret Magnetic Memory Method Chinese Vault bonus group where I'm sharing all of my mnemonics, my journey, different links, cool little things that are happening just related to Chinese. And there's only one way in there, and that is through this link. And of course, you're getting the actual Chinese vault, which is amazing, and it's very, very distinct and distinguished from textbook learning or other audio programs. I mean, other audio programs are not necessarily bad, but they certainly are very corporate-y, and you have these clear voices, standard pronunciation, really the ways that nobody speaks. And I've spent a fair shake of time in China, and I can tell you that all those audio programs, they helped a little bit, but nothing like the Chinese vault has helped, because I am now very attuned to being able to control natural speed and see how people actually speak and have this variety of voices and accents. And there's a little discussion area underneath these little videos where you can ask questions. And Angel, who put Mandarin HQ together, she is active in there, and you'll see that I'm posting in there as well sometimes. And other people who belong to this, they ask really great questions too, and you get links to different things to check out, and it just opens your mind so much. Now, one of the secrets of how to make these images is not just how to make the images, but how to actually locate them in space so that you're able to get back to them. Like, where do you see this in your mind? Well, one of the best places to see all of this in your mind is in a memory palace. So for people who grab the real Spoken Chinese Vault using my special link, they are able to, and by the way, in case you've forgotten, that link is magneticmemorymethod.com/YT Chinese. What you're going to get is a memory palace training that will show you how to link those images up to a memory palace. And then, of course, because there are tones involved, and again, I'm learning this along with you, but you need to remember what those tones are. I've got a little training that I've just finished up and added to an area where you get a password to watch these videos, and that's Chinese tone control, and it takes you through a very special technique that will enable you to remember what those tones are so you can get closer to correct pronunciation faster. But you got to get the pronunciation into your mouth, and you need some muscle memory involved as well. So I also want to give you the ultimate language learning secret. So this is a course that has a number of videos that take you through how to really motivate yourself. Yes, there's a little bit of cheerleading going on, rah-rah speeches, but it's a very, very important set of principles that you can use to help create energy as you go along your language learning journey. And it's a lot of fun. People have called me the Bruce Lee of language learning and memory after this, and I think you'll enjoy it. I also want to give you how to memorize Chinese poetry. It's a quick little tutorial that shows you more about using a memory palace to put little small tiny Chinese poems here and there, or big ones for that matter. And this is something that's normally reserved for the full Magnetic Memory Method Masterclass, but I want to share it with you as a gift for grabbing the Chinese Vault using the magneticmemorymethod.com/YT Chinese link. And then I'm going to write all this stuff up as a book eventually, and because you took this offer, I'm going to make sure that you get a PDF copy of that book. And let's just look at this very quickly. I mean, having access to native speakers where you can just press buttons and they repeat what it is that you need to learn, this is absolutely priceless. Absolutely priceless. And then, you're getting my Facebook community, which normally would be $47 a month for, and I have continuity programs that are even more expensive than that as part of the Magnetic Memory Method universe. So you're going to get that for free for life. And that's quite nice. You're going to get this memory palace training that'll show you how to put all these images in place for free as part of joining this. I mean, all you got to do is grab access to, and you'll get lifetime access to the Real Spoken Chinese Vault, and you get this training valued at $97. Then you get tone control, which is another $47 that comes absolutely free, plus the ultimate language learning secret, which sells regularly for $97, and my memorized Chinese poetry. If people wanted to buy that individually, that'd be $97. So when you total all this up together, just in free bonuses you're getting for grabbing Chinese Vault using magneticmemorymethod.com/YT Chinese, you're getting a massive amount of value that totals $902 worth of bonuses. And again, it's priceless. And access to that community, which is going to grow and grow over time, people sharing their mnemonics and their stories, and me just in there sharing stuff that I come across, just totally priceless. Well, the real pricelessness, the real priceless thing here is this ability to just be able to click, and not just elementary and beginner, but also intermediate. And, you know, there's just me going through this and sharing with you what it is that I'm doing to get these phrases into long-term memory. So if you're interested in that, let's make a deal. Go to magneticmemorymethod.com/YT Chinese. That's going to take you to a page very much like this at the top, and you'll see a little introduction from Angel and some more information. And, you know, the real key thing to pay attention to here is that this is real people with real opinions, real feelings, not actors in a studio. And, you know, which isn't to say that this is noisy or whatever. This is a high quality video production, and the sound is clear, it's crisp, and you are able to press these buttons. You can see they're professionally mic'd up, and they're just speaking from their heart, and it just sounds so amazing. And the fact that you get to hear 6 different examples of the question, little variations, some regional variations, and then different answers, and you get the tools to remember these sounds and meanings very, very quickly. Well, this is just going to be an amazing adventure. So head on over to magneticmemorymethod.com/YT Chinese. Can't wait to invite you into this Facebook group, to meet you personally there, to interact with you, and to share with you these bonuses of using a memory palace, learning how to use your memory to remember the exact tones, precisely what they are in these phrases, the ultimate language learning secret, which gives you all the motivation you'll ever need and insights into how people learn languages using the big 5 of language learning, poetry, and of course a PDF book of everything that I'm putting together when it's done. And the title is to be announced, but this is going to be probably the best book I ever write, because this is the most amazing passion-driven memory project that I've ever done. And you may not know me. This may be the first time you're watching a video from me, but I've written over 12 best-selling books on using these memory techniques for different languages, and Chinese so far is the most exciting to me, especially because of how close it is to my heart. And so yeah, I hope you're enjoying this series. If you missed the first video, make sure you go back to the very beginning. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Click that little bell and hit the like button, leave a comment, and be involved. And then go and grab the Chinese Vault. You won't regret it. It's so amazing, and I can't wait to get these bonuses to you. Just make sure you use magneticmemorymethod.com/YT Chinese. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it for you. And until we speak again, keep yourself magnetic.